Om. 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 गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुदेवो महेश्वरः गुरु साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः। हरि ओम। Let us all bow our heads down, bow down to the Lord, to the energy within you. And when you're ready, you can release your hands and you can all open your eyes. All right. So, namaskar to all of you. This is our first big class where we'll be spending more time with each other. And we'll do a quick revision on what has happened in the week and probably take up a new topic today as well. So, how's everybody doing? How is the course going for all of you so far? Are you all able to cope up? Are you all able to manage? Hmm? Time management? Because most of us are working professionals or busy at home. Just a minute. Yeah. Yes.
Yes. Go on.
So for me,
Okay.
namaskar.
Harsh.
Yeah, for me, evenings are difficult to join because my working hours in the evening. So, but I was able to watch recordings. Especially, I followed your discovery videos, the two videos uploaded uh, on the YouTube site. So, on those where you have explained those five, six asanas, I was able to take notes. I
Great.
still didn't get chance to practice them, but I wrote all the instructions that you have given in between. Uh,
Good.
there was one question. If you'll take it later, I have a question uh, on that video. But evenings will be difficult for me to join, and I, informed Seema about that as well. But I'll watch videos where there's something new shared. If it's the same asana practice, I'll follow the morning one, and the evening one. If there's something new shared, I'll try to
You
go
can
through.
try and see the video. Fair enough. So I'll take questions a little later, Harsh, as we go ahead. Let me just listen to everybody's opinions and perspective on this one week that has gone by. And that is a perfect way to go about where you are not, it's not compulsory for, I mean, we all know it that it's not compulsory that you have to attend the morning as well as the evening. You can choose mornings and attend mornings, then evenings become an option. You're free to attend it. It's not like you're not allowed or anything. Sometimes you miss the morning, you can also attend the evening. That's why we have kept one morning, one evening, understanding that the requirements of life today are quite challenging. So you should try and make up at least 3 to 4 classes a week, if possible, at least three. Okay. Uh, Neeta, you wanted to say something, please.
Yeah, okay. I had a question with this morning class at 9:30 or 9 o'clock and evening class at 7. And we can't eat 2.5 hours minimum before that.
Mm-hmm.
And dinner timings are going haywire. How do we manage
Skip dinner.
that?
Okay. Eat something light now after your thing. Have a soup or have some, steamed vegetables. On that particular day, you can, switch to a lighter dinner, which does not make it very heavy for you to go to bed. Avoid
Okay.
any kinds of dals or, or if you're having a dal, don't mix it with any kind of grains or carbs. Just have dal with a bowl of vegetables.
Yeah, because in the morning I'm having two boiled eggs at 6:30, quarter to 7. But by the time we finish class, I'm dying to eat.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Eating right will also fill you up. It's not only the quantity. So,
Okay.
okay. Any other challenges we are facing that probably we can discuss? And as a group, if anyone has suggestions, please feel free. Harshita has joined us today. So she'll be starting from today. Harshita, you want to just give a small introduction about yourself? She missed out on the week, but she's here today. So probably, um, you can introduce yourself.
Okay. So I'm a psychologist. I'm a working professional. I also am a Sri Vidya practitioner, Upasaka. And I think it's been a while since I've been wanting to deepen my studies in yoga. I mean, it is a part of life that's sort of been calling out to me for a long time. And yeah, that's pretty much the step that I've taken to join this. And I'm really happy to go on this journey with all of y'all. And I hope we all are able to sort of unlearn a lot of things that, we do.
Good. Welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, so Harshita, we'll get you up to speed, and as you go, probably after this call, again, we will go through a small call on how the week has gone by. But try and grasp as much as possible from today's class. We'll be covering on what's happened in the week. Okay. All right. Anyone else? How is the asana practice? Okay, Sonia, boliye.
Yeah, well, it's a new routine, Hitesh, and it is hectic. But I think in a span of 10 days or a week, we will settle down. It will become easier because every day we are journaling and sometimes I forget to journal or, I mean, it is hectic in that sense.
Yeah.
Also, health practice on days when there is no regular practice, making sure that, we do the asana practice in the morning. Like today, it was difficult for me being more of a night person and less of a morning person. But I think that is exactly the whole point that, we are disciplining ourselves. So I would say that here is the opportunity to go on this new chosen path for me. But I think I'll settle down in a few days and get into the rhythm of it.
Good. Um,
Hitesh?
so do we all recall one particular, sutra that I had spoken about, the Yoga Sutra, when we started? And the very first meeting, it was, I think, last Saturday when we met first, where I said there is Shasanam and there is Anushasanam, right? So, what Sonia is saying, yes, we all have Shasanam, we have a discipline for ourselves, we have a set routine that our life is going in that direction with that routine. And now to, fit in this and, make time and then again rewire ourselves. So, you will require that Anushasanam now. So, it is actually the theory in action as you go ahead, especially now the second week, because you don't want to go back to, you've done some changes, you want to improve and add and become more disciplined as we go ahead. So, yeah, so that's a clear live example of Shasanam to Anushasanam. Okay, Kavita, you wanted to speak and share something?
Yeah, so what's happening at my end is basically with this. Can you hear me?
I think you have two audios or something, so
I,
there's
I,
echo.
okay, let me leave. Right, and I had put two audios because this camera, I need to sort it out. Anyways, what's happening at my end is basically I have this new routine at home, like an empty nester syndrome. So I'm emotionally, with that back, kind of settling in with this new home environment, and I'm finding it a bit challenging because I think I wasn't prepared for this amount of input. I mean, I must say I'm really enjoying it because it's giving me a huge lot of insight and what I need to do and stuff. But at this moment, I'm a bit struggling with I know, kind of emotionally balancing that empty nester syndrome and or whatever else, however we want to place it. So it's like a bit of a struggle with the self. So I mean, I'm taking a little bit of more time to focus, because generally I'm kind of a person who, like, takes up something and I really, get into it. So I'm not able to dive into this because of, I think, this new system at home, as well as the dealing with that. So yeah, I mean, I've just come back from India and I'm thinking maybe I should have, given myself a little bit of more space in terms of,
Mm.
getting used to that. So yeah, that's where I am at the moment.
That's
But the
okay.
timing, yeah.
Don't rush, and it's okay. We still have a long way to go. It's
Okay.
important that you've realized, and please journal it, whatever you're
Mm,
feeling, because
mm,
when you start writing down your thoughts,
mm.
it becomes a completely different ball game. So sometimes you might think so much, but when you go to write about it, you might zero. The page might be blank.
Right.
Nothing might come out.
Right.
Do write. Journaling karo iska. Even this
Okay.
point, what you're talking about, feeling the emptiness syndrome and all that,
Mm,
please write
mm.
whatever you feel. The thoughts, putting
Okay.
them down is very powerful. Okay. And we are just in the first week. We still have a long way to go. I'm sure
Right.
you'll do, justice to yourself and the course as well. I'm sure.
Okay.
I have something to share as well.
Yeah, please.
Um, so I wasn't practicing yoga, and it's all of a sudden I'm doing asanas now. So I guess my challenge is my body's sore. Like, but I think I um maybe I know, like, I have to get through it. So but that's what is happening. I'm making time, and that is a little challenging also with work and kids, but it's all good.
Hello. Good. Body soreness is a good thing to have. It's working, the asanas. In time, it'll pass, Shreya. Good.
Okay.
Thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
All right. So that brings me to a question about the asana practice. How are you all finding the asana practice so far? Um, you know, did you learn something new? Did you enjoy your asana practice? Um, so this is just the start, of course, but new asanas that you learned, any new insights? And when you did your self practice, were you able to look at the video and complete your self practice? I know I've read the response sheets. Quite a few of you are, you've written quite well. You've been quite engaged in your self practice. But were there any challenges over there that probably you missed out putting onto the sheet, and then you can think of that now and you want to probably, ask about it or share about it on your self practice of the asanas? Okay, firstly, we are clear about the process, right? You're doing your live online session. That is not considered as self practice. Okay. Self practice is when you are switching on your system, you are switching on a video that has been shared to you. You're playing the video, you're seeing the video, and you're practicing it as per the video. And then you're giving a response sheet based on how you felt in the practice. We are clear about that. So this week, we don't have that doubt. That doubt is clear for everybody. Okay. Now, in the self practice itself, when you are doing the asanas, right? So you must have faced some challenges, perhaps, whether it was time management or whether it was, maybe not understanding some instructions clearly or not understanding the sequence. So if you have any doubt about the asana practice or the sequential flow, the timing, whatever, please, we can probably, take these questions next and try to clarify those doubts. Please go ahead. You can unmute and speak.
Okay. Yeah, hello, Hitesh sir. So,
Hi.
I do this yoga asana practices for long, and I mean, I have one particular question regarding what we had in our response sheet. It was like, were you able to apply any of the ethical precepts in your practice? So, frankly speaking, uh, I could not relate it. I mean, maybe I'm not into it that much. So just wanted to, if you can just throw some light on that.
Okay, I've written that down. Anybody else?
Sir, also the last question. Any any demonstration? Uh,
I can't hear you, Aprita.
Also the last question.
Hello?
If sorry, link that means what to write on it.
On the
So
demonstration
that
part,
you
were
have
you
learned.
able to? Okay, got it.
Just the last question.
Can you read out that question to me? Okay, anyone else?
Um, so when I was doing the self practice, I was journaling and then practicing, but I have like really less time, like say 1.5 hours to get everything together. So I was doing the asanas just once to get an idea of like so in our sequence usually the asanas are done minimum twice in practice session, but in self practice I think I was doing it once, so I wanted to know if that was okay. So
Okay, ठीक है. So I've got that also. Anybody else?
Hitesh, on
Hmm.
what basis is the sequence determined?
I can't hear you. Please, Sonia, again.
On what basis is the sequence determined?
Sure, got that also. Anyone else?
Sir, Devashri here.
Yes, Devashri.
I am actually unwell since Wednesday.
That's why you're missing. Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
I went through the video. I couldn't practice it yet. So hopefully I'll be okay by today evening and I'll practice this week's video.
ठीक है. So there's a very important question there also, which I will address. When you are unwell, what is the protocol?
And even while menstruating, what is the protocol?
Good, ठीक है.
I have a question. I'm used to doing yoga 3 times a week. Now that it's happening, I'm trying to come at least all 6 times. This was the first week, so yes, I could do it 4 times. But I realized that during self practice, then I get really tired, and that's why I could do only 15, 20 minutes each time. I've done it only twice this week, the self practice. So. Getting used to 3 times a week yoga and then now 6, 7, 8 times is a little challenging because the body gets really sore and I end up sleeping in the afternoon. I was really sleeping early at night, around 8:30 or so. I go off to sleep and wake up at 5:36 in the morning. So um, this thing of doing it, attending all 6 times is what I would like to do. Plus doing the self practice at least 4 times makes it 8 to 10 times in a week. How do I manage that?
Got it. I'll take one more question if there is, and then we'll just get down to some answers.
Yeah, I have one question. As you know, I was not able to do the self practice. I was not able to allocate time. But my question was more related to, let's say, if I'm on a fast or if I'm on a liquid diet for some reason, and I don't have the regular daily strength. What should be the protocol, especially when fasting, when you're just drinking water for 24 hours? What's the yeah, the,
Okay, so I'll start with the
So
yogic
just my question, I
question.
just
Yes, bolo.
any one technical term that you have learned today in today's term that
For
you can
demonstration.
apply as a teacher, memorization or demonstration skill. So can a demonstration skill can one of the instruction can be put as answer?
Yes. Okay. So we'll take your question first, Aprita. You're right. So what happens when we listen to an instruction, right? Then we practice the instruction. Okay. Now, when you have to do the same thing as a demonstration to your students, were you able to do that? Okay. What is demonstration? Demonstration is a combination of being able to do the asana, right? Apply the instructions, um, uh, the technical terms such as maybe roll the hip back, lift the chest up, stretch your arm. Okay. And it cannot just be, that you're speaking that to the person, to your students, but you have to first be able to absorb that, feel it, and only after that you'll be able to, show it on your body to your students. Now, if you see the classes, if you've come to the augmented classes that was there with me, how many of you were there? Which will happen if you're not there, it'll again happen on Monday. So in that, I was doing the asana on my body. I was explaining the movement of whatever joints or muscles on my body so that it was visible clearly, it was demonstrated clearly to my students. Okay, so that you have to pick any one asana or two asanas or three asanas, but at least one, and try and do that. Okay, so that is how you develop your demonstration skill and move from the student to the teacher. For a student, you're doing it and you feel, I'm doing it right, and it ends there. But being able to repeat the instruction and then probably even if you're saying it to an imaginary person in front of you, so do it, speak it, and then so that's your demonstration skill. Memorization skill is just being able to remember. Okay, but there's a big journey between remembering and actually speaking it. And as a teacher, when we this is a classical issue that many teacher training programs have. They give a lot of knowledge which is absorbed. Okay, but then it ends there because they're not able to deliver on that knowledge, you know, um, use that knowledge anywhere. So even if they get an opportunity to use the knowledge, most of the times they are unable to because they don't have the experience of this particular skill, which is demonstration skill. Memorization ho gaya hai, but at that right time, being able to bring out that memory into your demonstration, that is the hallmark of a ready teacher, a teacher being ready. Okay, so what you guys should do is pick up at least one asana in that practice and repeat it 2 or 3 times. Repeat it on your body, repeat the instructions aloud, and probably speak as though you're speaking to, a crowd, to your students. See, however, I'm going to make you all do that in a live environment. So please be ready. ठीक है वो होने वाला है आपका लेकिन start the preparation. ठीक है
Hitesh, I have a question.
Hamsa, let me finish these questions, then I'll come to you.
Okay.
Thanks. Then we go to ethical precepts. So, application of ethical precepts. So, this week it was not doing himsa, but applying ahimsa. So, let's take, for example, the same example of demonstration on your body, right? So, demonstrating a trikonasana on your body. So, how much can you push and how much can you achieve without damaging the body, right? Or without getting too aggressive in the muscles, not going beyond, pulling yourself back, right? For example, if we look at Guruji BKS Iyengar's Trikonasana, have you all seen Guruji BKS Iyengar's Trikonasana photo or any photo of Guruji BKS Iyengar in an asana, right? We have seen. Now, if we want to demonstrate thinking, I want to achieve that, it's not a bad thing. Yes, we should have that ambition. But if we do not work towards it systematically, but try to do it in one day and push our body and say, nahi, hona hai, that can become aggressive. And then you are actually doing himsa to your body. You're applying aggression to your body, you're applying himsa to your body. But understanding your limitations and then doing as per your limitations, right? So applying one of the ethical precepts on the mat. So understanding your limitations and working from there. ठीक है योगेश? Another one was Shaucha. Shaucha is pretty straightforward. So one of the better examples that I like to give is not only about having a bath in the morning and then coming to your mat, but what's more important than that is if you're having an early morning practice of asanas, what have you done the previous night? Like to answer even Neeta's question, you feel very hungry and after your evening practice, but you know in the morning there is another class I have to attend or probably have to as a teacher take a class, you know. So what have you done the previous night is going to define how your morning class is going to be. It's not only that morning bath, but your preparation should start from the previous evening itself, probably. You know, so what have I eaten? How much I have eaten? More than what I would say, how much. Initially, focus on, you know, quantity. Try and reduce the quantity. If we try to just improve the quality and then keep the quantity a lot, that is also not right. But eat as per what is recommended, which is, less food. But anyway, we'll get into that later. I have a topic on diet. We'll come to that later. But the point being that you start taking care of the previous night. Previous evening, say that what can I do to have, you know, to make myself ready so that I can give the best to my students, so that I can give the best to myself, you know. An example that my teacher gave me is what if this is going to be your last class that you're ever going to teach? So you have to try and do that for every single class of yours. So it's a constant process. So what time you would sleep because you have mental clarity. So that is like a mental cleansing. What you eat. So that could give you the organic body ka cleansing, your digestive system, your excretory system. And again, what you eat will also relate to your mind. What have you seen in the previous night? How much screen time or what you have heard in the previous. So being able to purify yourself of all the distractions. Shaucha can come in these different ways. Okay, when you have to apply them to your mat. Okay, and we will also dissect more of the yama niyamas as we go ahead. So these were the two, ahimsa and shaucha for this week. The third question was Shreya. So how many times should you be doing the asana and how much time should you be practicing? See, considering the situations that we all are in today, like how much time we are allotting, I would say, ठीक don't worry about how many times and how much time you're giving, but just make it a point that every day you do. Even if it is 15 minutes, you do it. Okay, I would suggest even to go one step further that you can't do an asana, it's okay. Do shavasana for 15 minutes. Open the mat, get on the mat. That is most important. Okay, sometimes we tend to, for all of us, including myself, the idea of doing things itself tires us out. So we don't even reach there. So the important thing is open the mat, reach there. And more often than not, believe me, the yoga will unfold itself because you have got yourself there. You're ready for that. So even if it's a shavasana, the moment you do a shavasana in 5 minutes, you'll say, Chal, let me just do an akunchanasana. Chal, let me just take the belt and do one stretch, leg stretch. And that's it. That is what is yoga. To be able to delay the process of procrastination. So procrastination itself is a delay. You keep delaying, aaj nahi, kal nahi. But being able to delay the process of procrastination, is vairagya, initially for us. So getting attached to the right stuff and weaning away from the unwanted stuff. So getting yourself on the mat for all of us and then see what happens. So let's start with that consistency. And I think you're doing that for 15 minutes or so it's good enough. Don't stress. Okay, sequence. So Sonia, the sequences that we have built is uh, to take the journey of a body from the physical to the physiological to the psychological, right? So therefore we do standing asanas first. We do warm-ups first, because when we step onto the mat, the mind is a little helter-skelter. There's no point in doing a Shirshasana in a helter-skelter mind, right? So first you come in, let the mind wander. You gently pull it back with one knee hug. one knee twist, spinal twist. So you just get yourself, a little, adapt yourself to that situation on the mat. After that, the next step, stand up, do a Tadasana. Then you start getting your focus. Do a standing asana. Then you start moving the focus towards the body. Because standing asanas are easier than a inversion. So you don't need that much of an effort. So gradually we build the sequence and then take you from the physical to the physiological. That is your systems of the body, like cardiac system, nervous system. Nervous system to starts working, but a little more deeper. Circulatory system, digestive system. So different asanas start going and working on these. And then finally, you'll see there's a Shirshasana that comes in, there's a Sarvangasana that comes in, which is more on the endocrine system and more of the practices which require more mental attention. Like if you're standing on your head, you need to be there. So gradually we build the sequence from physical to the physiological to the psychological. Okay? So the sequences are built like that. And this week, the sequence, I'll take this time to also speak about the sequence. Anyone know what the sequence was for this week? It was
Standing, should
uh,
I say?
yes, it was for
Was
which
it core?
Standing
strength?
Tadasana,
Tadasana,
Strength.
Tadasana, and then
Veerabhadrasana.
Yes, we know the names of the
Udita,
We
asanas,
know
but
them.
Udita
was it for
Hastapadasana.
strength? Was it for strength, flexibility, balance?
I think strength
Strength.
and core.
Strength.
Yeah.
It was for strength. So this sequence was for strength, right? So all the asanas that were there, they have an element of flexibility and balance, but primarily the sequence is built for strength. Okay, to develop strength and to develop a foundation. Strength means foundation, right? So that's why maybe the body is a little more sore this week because the standing asanas, the category like Veerbhadrasana 2, it is a little demanding. Utkatasana is a little demanding. Yes.
Yeah.
So you all would have really felt your muscles work. So that's about the sequence. Right. Now we have Devashri. So the protocol when you are not feeling well, this goes for all of you. You should not be practicing asanas. Okay. So what Devashri did was absolutely right. She just saw the video and that is perfect. Please do not practice asanas. See, asanas are subtle. They are not like exercises. Okay. So anything that is subtle, when you practice them, the effect is also subtle. So when you're sick and you're practicing, there's a chance that you'll fall more sick. So please do not practice when you're unwell. Please do not go in contact of your students or your colleagues in a yoga class because you don't want them also to catch what you have. So there's only one protocol, no practice. Take a rest, recover, and then come back. There's no shortcuts to that. During menstrual cycle, practice. Okay. But again, depending on how weak you're feeling and how strong you're feeling, you can vary the practice. Things to avoid: backbends, Surya Namaskars, inversions, anything that is strenuous on the legs. So you can do asanas which are lying down and just stretching the legs to one side, or you can just lie down and hug the right knee, hug the left knee. Very basic, simple asana. You can sit down and just do a pelvic tilt or a lateral tilt for the spine. So anything that also makes your lower abdomen light. Lie down in a supine position in a butterfly, Supta Baddha Konasana. So all these asanas you must practice as much as possible during your menstrual cycle. Forwards are excellent. Just cross your legs, rest your head, again. Okay. Upavishta Konasana, legs spread out and then rest your head forward. If it doesn't reach down, use a height, use a chair or something. I'll just make it a point to add a session on menstrual cycle routine. I think we will need that going ahead for all the teachers. Okay. Does that answer the question, Devashri? Okay. Frequency.
Yes.
Okay. Frequency. Neeta. when we start practicing asanas more often, like from 3 days we go to 4, 5, or 6, one thing that will happen is you will start feeling a little more sleepy than usual. You will yawn a little more than usual. I don't know if that is happening to you all. If you have shifted from 2, 3 days to 6 days, or if you're relatively new in regular practice, these are common things, these are normal things, and it will happen. Okay, I remember my days when I started initially and I used to practice. I used to do the practice, and the whole day I used to be sleeping. Then again, next day, then whole day again sleeping. So I was thinking, ये कैसा yoga है ये? You know, it's supposed to give me energy, vitality, and this and that. Only thing I'm doing is yawning and sleeping, yawning and sleeping. And now a lot of teachers that we onboard and they come to practice and etc. Same thing is happening to them also. So it is a common thing because asanas again is not exercise. It's subtle, which means you are also working the brain. The brain also gets tired. Okay, it's an exercise for your brain as well. Therefore, it demands more oxygen. Yawning means what? I need more oxygen. The body is saying oxygen though. That is what yawning means. Okay, sleep means what? Brain is tired, I want to rest. It's not only the body. The brain says I'm tired and I want to just rest and recover. So what you need to do is a long shavasana after your practice. And also, if you can get the time in the day, after your practice, everything is done, try and find a slot just for shavasana. Okay. So this week we will be sharing at least one video, which will be one audio of 5 to 7 minutes, which you can just play it and be in a shavasana. Maybe you do 1, 2 asanas and then just settle down in a shavasana and then play that video or audio for 5 to 7 minutes. Okay, and in that process, if you fall asleep, please let it happen. Do not stop yourself from falling asleep. It's a good thing initially to fall asleep in shavasana. Okay. What do we do during fast? Again, fasting, if you're going to do intensive fasting, such as being on water for 24 hours, etc., asana practice is not recommended. Probably you can do shavasanas, or you can take up just one asana and do that asana for 4, 5 minutes and then go to a shavasana. So do not exert yourself because fasting, the practice of fasting is also like a yoga practice. You're doing something for the body. Like how asanas help the body to become clean, help the body to develop resistance, resilience. Fasting also does the same thing for the body and the mind, right? So doing upavas in itself is a practice. So do not add anything more rigorous. Doing one asana here and there, or doing an asana long holding time, like taking a support of the wall, just getting your legs up on the wall and lying down with your back on the floor, being there for 5 minutes, that's fine. Or do a tadasana. After a tadasana, just do one trikonasana and then go to a shavasana. So no exertion. Okay?
Hitesh, I had a question regarding
Then we
fasting.
I'll just finish this one thing. Okay. These questions are over. I think I've covered all the questions. So this is all pertaining to your practice, and please note it down whatever was told over here so that we are clear. I think Hamsa wanted to speak something.
Yeah. Hitesh, my
Hamsa, after
question
that,
is,
Kavita. Okay, Kavita. Yeah.
thank you. I have a question regarding the duration of holding of an asana. Now, if we are teaching a beginner, how do we as a teacher, how will we know how much to make them hold? As a beginner, they will not have much strength. So
Yes.
how much, when we conduct a class, how much can we ask them to hold? And what is the duration of time that we, as in intermediate students, what is the minimum duration of time of an asana that we have to hold? Do we go by feel of our body or do we go by minutes or a clock? Hold for 3 minutes, hold for 2 minutes. So how is it that we will understand this
Got
holding
it.
asana?
Okay. So how much time to hold for your students and how much to hold when you're practicing? Okay. Kavita?
Hitesh, I had two questions. Like you talked about fasting, like you talked about the water fast, but like for example, if I'm doing Ekadashi where I don't eat grains, and I don't eat proteins particularly, so I do feel a bit drained also on those days. So either I mean, for example, I yesterday was Ekadashi, so I didn't observe the fast because I just felt that I needed that protein and grain intake. That was one question, and the other thing is how important it is to observe celibacy during when the practice. I mean, yeah, in
Got it.
course, yeah.
Got it. Okay. Anybody else? Okay. So Ekadashi fast. I think, okay, before that is how much to hold for students. We are going to have a session which is going to be the practicum, the teaching skills, where you will be taking mock classes and you will be given a clear step-by-step process on how much time to hold, what are the instructions you need to give, how much to speak, all that will be taught, Hamsa. So I suggest we wait for that session to happen. How much do I need to practice on my own? The general time, if I would say, if I have to put it into time, you have to try and hold an asana for 30 seconds. 30 seconds on each side. Okay? All right. So Ekadashi fast. In fact, now you all can apply this 30 seconds principle in your self practice as well. Hmm. So Ekadashi fast. See, fasting is something, again, it is very personal. Since how long have you been fasting? Under what mental conditions are you fasting? Um, what is the reason behind, the core purpose behind fasting? Above everything else, it is the purpose. Not only in fasting, but everything we do in life, if there is no purpose to it, it is futile, it is useless. Even the purpose for me to go to a job could be as good as I need to make that money because I need to survive in the society. It's great. There is a purpose. But if we are doing something without a purpose, it doesn't make sense. You need to rewire yourself, sit down and think why. So it comes from there. If your purpose is good, you know why you're doing it, then nothing should trouble you, Kavita. So try and look at why you're fasting first, okay? And if you don't fast, you don't fast. You're not going to get struck by a lightning. So, so understand that point. Not only for you, because these are my principles. I apply fasting based on that. Now, if your purpose is right and you know why you're fasting and everything is there, and despite that you're feeling a little lethargy or fatigue or tiredness, you have to prioritize your fasting because that you have a purpose behind that and you're doing that. Okay, and that's a routine for you. So always prioritize your routine and your prayers and your sadhana for all of you. Okay, and then move to the other things. If there is something that you're already doing that is giving you happiness and joy, you are in yoga already. So prioritize that. And in that, baby steps में आप शुरू करो. See what asanas you can do that will help you to control the hunger. This also goes to Harsh. Like doing a, forward bending asana, like a Paschimottanasana, will definitely help you in your fasting time because it will curb your, you know, hunger. Okay, it will increase, mind you, doing a Paschimottanasana will increase your digestive fire, but it does not mean it will increase your hunger. Okay, now that is the beauty of asanas. Therefore, a Paschimottanasana is also called as a Brahmacharya asana. ब्रह्मचर्य के लिए फायर और अग्नि बहुत चाहिए, ठीक है, बट दैट हंगर इज वेरी डिफरेंट टू material hunger. Anyway, so that brings me to the next. So doing the right asanas can definitely help you in your process of, upasanas and sadhanas, and understand the purpose behind whatever we are doing. That brings me to the next question, which is celibacy. So brahmacharya is one of the yamas. Ahimsa, Satya, Asteya, Brahmacharya. So we will be dissecting brahmacharya a little more in the coming weeks. Okay, so I will speak about brahmacharya and celibacy at that time. But just to tell you in short, the celibacy, the brahmacharya that Patanjali subscribes is not only physical, but it is also related to how much we speak, how much we think, how much we act on little things in our life, knowing when to withdraw, not get indulged in some affairs of life, and so on and so forth. It is not only pertaining to what today celibacy means, just thinking about sexual life or physical. So celibacy has many other connotations and deeper understandings. So we will dissect that as we go ahead. So brahmacharya will be taken up. Okay, cool. So who's going to chant sutras 1 to 3? I need a break.
Can I go?
It is 9:47. So yeah, I think we'll take the sutras and then वही break हो जाएगा. Anyone who's doing it, please unmute
I
and
would like to go.
please.
अथ योग अनुशासनम् अथ योग अनुशासनम् योगश्चित्तवृत्तिनिरोधः योगश्चित्तवृत्तिनिरोधः तदा द्रष्टु स्वरूपवस्थानम् तदा द्रष्टु स्वरूपेवस्थानम् योगकर्मसु कौशलम् योगकर्मसु कौशलम् समत्वं योग उच्यते समत्वं योग उच्यते.
Anyone else? You can just unmute and start off, please.
अथ योगः अनुशासनम् योगः चित्तवृत्तिनिरोधः तदा द्रष्टु स्वरूपे अवस्थानम्.
Very good. Good pronunciations, both.
योगचित्तवृत्तिनिरोधः अथ योग अनुशासनम् तदा रष्टे स्वरूपे वस्थनम् योगसु कौशलम्.
ठीक है, Kavita, good. Progress is good.
अथ योग अनुशासनम् योगश्चित्तवृत्तिनिरोधः तदा दृष्टु स्वरूपे वस्थानम्.
Great. Next, please.
अथ योग अनुशासनम् योग चित्तवृत्ति निरोधः तदा दृष्टु स्वरूपे स्थानम्.
All right. Good.
अथ योग अनुशासनम् योग चित्तवृत्तिनिरोधः तदा द्रष्टुः स्वरूपेवस्थानम् योग कर्मसु कौशलम् समत्वं योग उच्यते.
Nice. Good.
योगचित्तवृत्तिनिरोधः तदा दृष्टुः स्वरूपेवस्थानम् अथ योग अनुशासनम्.
All right. Good. Next, please.
अथ योगानुशासनम् योगश्चित्तवृत्तिनिरोधः तदा द्रष्टुस्वरूपेवस्थानम्.
Good. Good pronunciations. Anyone else? Yes, please.
तदा द्रष्टुवरु से स्वस्थ अथ योगानि शासनम योगचित्तिवृत्ति निरोधः. Again, the third one I just forget every
Okay,
time.
it's okay.
Sorry,
We'll get
I'll
there.
learn that.
तदा द्रष्टुः स्वरूपेव स्थानम्
तदा दृष्टस्वरूपेव स्थानम्.
Good. All right. Next, please. Make mistakes, please. It's okay, even if it has to.
अथ योगा अनुशासनम योगः चित्तवृत्तिनिरोधः तदा दृष्टस्वरूपेव स्थानं
Good.
योगः कर्मसु कौशलं समत्वं योगः उच्यते.
Good. Okay. Next, please. Richa, you want to try?
I am actually struggling, but I've been able to remember only one, which is
Chalega.
Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha. I understand this because I understand the meaning of it also. I mean,
Very good.
yeah, so I think I'm struggling because I'm not able to memorize something until and unless I don't know the meaning. So
Good.
go back and maybe come back prepared.
Done. No worries.
Yeah.
You want to try Pankaj or no? Go. ठीक है. Have everybody tried? So shall we say it together once? Maybe you can be on mute. I will say it and then we can repeat it. So Harshita, you can also join in from your place. Okay. So the very first sutra is Atha Yoga Anushasanam. Atha Yoga Anushasanam means now yoga, self-discipline. Okay. So now begins the journey of yoga with my self-discipline. Atha Yoga Anushasanam. Yoganushasanam. Again, Atha Yoganushasanam. Atha Yoganushasanam. So in sutras, it is called sutras because one merges into the other into the other. So when you break it down, it is Atha Yoga Anushasanam. There are three different words, but when you put them together, it is Atha Yoganushasanam. So there is yoga ka and anushasanam ka. Yoganushasanam. Yoganushasanam. Okay, so let's say that three times, okay? Together. Atha Yoganushasanam. Atha Yoganushasanam. Atha Yoganushasanam. Then the second sutra is Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha. Okay. So because of the nature of the sutra, which is not pure Sanskrit, it's a more ancient and more codified Sanskrit. Yoga is one, Chitta Vritti Nirodha. But when you put it together, the S comes in Yogas Chitta Vritti Nirodha. Yogas Chitta Vritti Nirodha. Yogas Chitta Vritti Nirodha. Okay, so let's say it three times together. Yogas Chitta Vritti Nirodha. Stress. Yogaschittavrittinirodha. Yogaschittavrittinirodha. Once more. Yogaschittavrittinirodha. So yoga, chitta, is your mind and mind stuff. Vritti means the modifications and the fluctuations. Nirodha means stopping, ceasing, putting to an end. Okay, so yoga, chitta vritti nirodha means yoga is stopping, ceasing, or ending the modifications of the mind, the fluctuations of the mind. So imagine like a lake with a lot of ripples and you making it quiet. So the lake is absolutely still. So the mind is like the lake with a lot of ripples and movements and small waves in them. And then yoga will stop all of that and bring it to a stagnation. Yoga's chitta vritti nirodha. So what happens when we do that? When the mind becomes still, then you are in your true self. That is the time you are in your own true nature, right? So otherwise we are in the modifications. We are always with these vrittis and these modifications and alterations, manipulations. But when chitta vritti nirodha happens, then the vritti cease. Then what happens? You are without the vrittis. You are in your true nature. That is tada drashtu swarupe avasthanam. So avastha, swarupa, that is your actual rupa. Okay, so you are in that. Okay, so tada drashtuhu swarupe avasthanam. Avastha हमारा ऐसा होता है. When we put it together, tada drashtu swarupe avasthanam. Tada drashtu swarupe avasthanam. Tada drashtu swarupe avasthanam. Okay, so let's try it. I'll say it once. You can repeat it. So 3 times. I'll break it down the first time. So, tada drashtuhu swarupe vasthanam. Tada drashtuhu swarupe vasthanam. Tada drashtuh swarupe vasthanam. Tada drashtuh swarupe vasthanam. Tada drashtu swarupe vasthanam. Tada drashtu swarupe vasthanam. Once more. Tada drashtu swarupe vasthanam. Tada drashtu swarupe vasthanam. Okay. So this week I'll give you 2 more sutras. I will record it and send it to you, and then we will study them in the coming week. So saying it together, there is a preceding sutra. When we start reciting the Yoga Sutras, Atha Patanjala Yoga Sutra Pathaha means Atha Patanjala Yoga Sutra Pathaha. So I'm going to say the Patha of Patanjali's Yoga Sutra. That is the preceding sutra. अथ पातंजल योग सूत्र पाठः. Then starts अथ योगानुशासनम योग चित्त वृत्ति निरोधः तदा द्रष्टु स्वरूपे वस्थानम. Okay, we'll say it together 3 times with the preceding sutra. अथ पातंजल योग सूत्र पाठः. You all can repeat.
अथ पतंजलि योग
सूत्र पाठः. अथ योगानुशासनम् योगः चित्तवृत्तिनिरोधः तदा द्रष्टुः स्वरूपे वस्थानम्. तदा द्रष्टुः स्वरूपे वस्थानम्. Okay, now let's try and say it together all from the preceding sutra. अथ पातंजल योग सूत्र पाठः. अथ योगानुशासनम् योगश्चित्तवृत्तिनिरोधः तदा द्रष्टुः स्वरूपेव स्थानम्. Okay, now please practice, and after this, next week, kill it 2 more. All right. So since we are
Hitesh sir,
doing,
one question.
yes,
Can you please explain the third sutra word by word? Yata drashtu swarupe vasthanam.
tada drashtuhu swarupe.
Vasthanam.
So avasthanam is in your own self. Yeah, swarupa. What is the state? Avasthanam is a state. Swarupa is your own true nature.
Okay.
Okay, so drashtuhu is the seer, that is you.
Okay. Seer. Got it. Okay.
So what happens then? The seer resides in his true self.
Okay. Got it.
Okay,
Yeah.
avasthanam. Then the next sutra is vritti sarupyam itaratra. So itaratra, other times, if he's not in his true self, the other times he's in the vrittis, vritti sarupyam. So he's in the rupas of the vrittis, vritti sarupyam itaratra. Then vrittaya panchataya klishta klishta. So there are 5 vrittis, but we will come to that. Okay, so this is every sutra is linked to the next or the preceding one. That's the beauty of Yoga Sutras. And therefore, we call Patanjali not as a philosopher but as a scientist. Because if we follow the sutras, there is guaranteed result. Okay, so today's topic was talking about the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali and why it is so important. Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, so there are 6 orthodox philosophies in the Indian tradition, so to say, in the Indian subcontinent, in the Indian tradition, um, over the last thousands of years, 6 orthodox philosophical systems were followed. So there's Nyaya from Gautama, there's uh, Visheshika from Kannada, there is Uttara Mimamsa, Purva Mimamsa, there is Sankhya, and then there is Yoga. So we don't need to know all the other 5. We are not going to be looking into them. But the 6th one, Yoga, which is very important for us. That is what the course is about, and that is what we are studying. So yoga is one of the orthodox philosophical systems of India. It is the smallest text. It has only 196 sutras, and compared to the other texts where there are thousands of sutras. So 196 sutras, the philosophy is complete. Patanjali is given everything that needs to be learnt um, about us, our role in the cosmos, about life, about the way to live our life, and the way to achieve uh, liberation, Kaivalya. Okay, so he's given these 196 sutras in the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, which are divided into 4 chapters. The very first chapter is Samadhi Pada. Samadhi Pada is for Adi Matra practitioners, proficient practitioners who understand the mind, who understand yoga, and who can directly get into meditation and work towards Samadhi, which is the highest rung. So for those who can do Antar Atma Sadhana, please write this down. There are 3 kinds of sadhanas. One is Bahiranga Sadhana, one is Antaranga Sadhana, and one is Antar Atma Sadhana. Okay, so the very first chapter of Patanjali's Yoga Sutra on Samadhi Pada is more for the Antar Atma Sadhana. Antar Atma Sadhana is practiced by Adi Matra practitioners. That means, let's say, level 3 practitioners. Then you have level 2 practitioners, which are Madhyam. And then we have the basic level 1 practitioners, which is where we all are, where me and you, we are all in that first level. So for us, trying to dissect the Samadhi Pada, we will understand it, yes, but application won't be as easy. Where the concepts are more about the mind, the different kinds of meditations, he explains 7 different kinds of meditations in first chapter. And these are the 7 different meditations that can be applied. Okay, so that is the first chapter, Samadhi Pada. Okay, then we have the second chapter, Sadhana Pada. Sadhana Pada is somewhere, for us, we can relate to Sadhana Pada. Sadhana means, as if we can, very loosely say, practice. Sadhana matlab practice, self practice, disciplined practice, daily practice. Okay, so the second chapter is Sadhana Pada. In this, Patanjali gives us the methods of practice, how we need to practice, how we need to start the practice of yoga, what all we need to start considering, and step by step, how do we progress so that we can still reach meditation and reach अंतरात्मा साधना. ठीक है, आप डायरेक्टली अंतरात्मा साधना नहीं कर सकते हो, तो ये सेकंड चैप्टर पे आइए. I will give you the method of how to reach the antaratma sadhana. That is what Patanjali has given us. In this second chapter is where Ashtanga Yoga comes in. Okay, so the Ashtanga Yoga of USA is very different to what Ashtanga Yoga of actual Ashtanga Yoga is. Okay, so Ashtanga Yoga is just a part, it's a small part, a significant part, a small part of the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. Okay, it is the theory of niyamas, asanas, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, and samadhi, and the practice of the same. Okay. So in the second chapter, the Ashtanga Yoga comes in, where he explains to us what are yamas. 5 yamas are there, which we have told, ahimsa, satya, asteya, brahmacharya, parigraha. You will get it all in notes anyway, and the recording is also there. Then we have the 5 niyamas, saucha, santosha, tapa, swadhyaya, ishvara, pranidhan. Then we have asanas, which we are practicing. Then we have pranayam, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, and samadhi. Okay. He also tells us what happens when you practice a particular yama. In this chapter, he explains. अगर आपने अहिंसा practice किया and you master ahimsa, what you get in return, what skill you will get, or what siddhi you will get, or what powers you get. Ahimsa pratisthayam tat sannidho vairattyagaha. Okay, so I won't get into them, but in brief, for every yama and every niyama is given. Ahimsa pratisthayam tat sannidho vairattyagaha, satya pratisthayam kriya phalashreyatvam, asteya pratisthayam sarvaratma upasthanam. So every yama and every niyama is given a fruit. What is the fruit that you will, if you master it, आपको क्या मिलने वाला है? Therefore, it becomes even more significant for us as yoga practitioners moving towards antaratma sadhana. ठीक है? In the same second chapter, there is also the concept of Kriya Yoga. You've heard the name Kriya Yoga? So he explains what is Kriya Yoga, the yoga of action. This is a sutra also which I will be asking you all to recite over time, over the next few weeks. It's called 2.1, the first sutra of the second chapter. Tapa Swadhyay Ishvara Pranidhanani Kriya Yoga. So Kriya Yoga is a combination of Tapa, Swadhyay, and Ishvara Pranidhana. Austerities, disciplined practice, self-study, study of scriptures, study of the wisdom from the sages and the saints, Swadhyaya that is, and being able to understand the God phenomenon and divinity, and being able to understand, not only understand, but also accept divinity. That is Ishvara Pranidhana. right? So I'm giving you very practical terms because Patanjali is practical, and that's the only way, we have learned, I have learned at least. Otherwise, Ishvara Pranidhan can also be, close your eyes and surrender to God. It's very simple. But in practically to do it, first you have to be able to accept the God phenomenon, the God concept, right? In today's age that we live, blind faith is become an issue. We can't really, because then again, today's blind faith, tomorrow, then the blind faith will change to some other faith. So if you have a reasoning, it always becomes easier for us to accept things. So that's what Patanjali says. आप reasoning, अगर आप ईश्वर प्रणिधान कर रहे हो, surrender कर रहे हो, तो do your tapa, do your austerities, do your practice, do your studies, study the scriptures, be in the company of right people. Sat sang, sadhu sang, sadhana sangha. So the sanghas, that very important. That is your swadhyaya. Swadhyaya is not only sitting and doing your own बुक पढ़ लिया या फिर किसी का वीडियो देख लिया या फिर कुछ कॉन्सेप्ट सीख लिया दैट इज अ पार्ट ऑफ इट बट ऑल्सो इट गोज अ लिटिल डीपर द कंपनी दैट यू कीप द लैंग्वेज दैट यू यूज द स्पीच द साइट द साउंड्स दैट यू हियर सो three kinds of swadhyas. One is sadhu sangha, that means being in the company of saints and sages and rishis and munis who have left back wisdom. Maybe literally we can't be, but through their work, studying their work, etc. And then is scriptures. And then is, of course, being with the right kind of people. And your own sadhana. Okay, so sitting, maybe, finding a time to practice, doing the practice at that same time every day. That can become a wonderful sadhana and sangha of your own company. Okay, so developing that is very important. Then it becomes easier to understand the God concept. Otherwise, it's easy. We can say surrender to God and over. But what, is there any growth in that? That's what Patanjali questions. So Kriya Yoga, yoga of action, even if you're surrendering to God, Tapa, Swadhyay, then Ishvara Pranidhana, Kriya Yoga. Developing the intelligence, the wisdom to understand the God concept, and then surrendering to that God concept. All right, so chapter 2 is about this. Sadhana, Pada. The chapter on sadhana. The first one is chapter on samadhi. The third one is chapter on vibhuti, the siddhis that one might get. When you practice yoga, when you do your sadhanas, one starts to get siddhis. I think we had spoken about this in one of the sessions where Juhi was also saying, certain things happen. You get an intuition, you get a deeper intuition, insight. When you practice asanas, when you start doing the sadhanas, siddhis are bound to come. Some small, some large, some very regular. Okay, the examples that I was giving and I like to give is because it happens very often. Sometimes I'm thinking of something that I want to eat and somebody presents it to me on that day. If I'm uh, probably fond of sweets, so inevitably somebody will come and give me my favorite sweet on that day or something. So that is also a form of siddhi. It is, a kind of uh, manifestation, right? So when we do yoga, manifestation at various levels is possible. So in chapter 3, he explains you can manifest X, Y, Z if you do this, if you concentrate on this. If you concentrate on that, you can manifest that. If you concentrate on that, you can manifest that. Like if you manifest in the pit of your throat, you can manifest certain powers come to you. If you manifest on the navel, you can come to know about your past lives and the life before that, your origin from where you came. So if you do sadhana on your navel, Nabi Chakre Kaya Vyuha Jnanam, Kantakupek Shuktipasa Nivrutti. So you'll get all the kinds of nivruttis if you focus on your throat and you concentrate. Chandre Tara Vyuha Jnanam. So you'll come to know about the astrology and astronomy if you focus on a particular sadhana. So I won't get into that again because for us, just knowing the concept is important. So third chapter explains all of this, and then he goes on to say that these are sadhanas and siddhis, walking on water, becoming as light as a feather. You meditate on the weight of a feather, the lightness of a feather, and then you can levitate because you become as light as a feather. So these kind of, but he's saying these siddhis are their siddhis, and they are an obstacle to kaivalya. Eventually, yoga is kaivalya, reaching the point of non-attachment and liberating yourself from all of these worldly affairs. Not by escaping them or running away from them, but being where you are and being able to completely, get rid of all your samskaras and karmas. So the final nail in that coffin is, the temptation will come in the form of all these siddhis and sadhanas. And many, many, many sadhus and saints have fallen prey to it. And ऐसे हाथ करके कुछ ये निकलेगा, gold निकाल सकते हैं. It's all possible according to Patanjali, and I believe, because I have not gone to the siddhis, but with sadhanas, whatever he has said systematically, it happens. It's just that the intensity आप डालोगे तो everything is possible. Manifestation is possible. But we don't need that. He says you don't need to get trapped in that. You have to go to the fourth chapter, which is Kaivalya Pada. Okay? And in Kaivalya Pada, he speaks about the highest form of samadhi one can get, and that is called as a Dharma Megha Samadhi. Okay, so you have Vitarka, Vichara, all these different kinds of samadhis that will come in the previous chapters. So, for example, when you're sitting in meditation, there's that one small fraction where you feel completely centered and focused. That is also a form of samadhi, Patanjali says. It's a short samadhi. They come and go, come and go, come and go, reminding you that you are actually that, right? But you're not able to sustain it. Then he says, go to your practice, do this to develop that. And when you develop that, then you get these powers, you get these siddhis, you still go beyond that. And then there is the Dharma Megha Samadhi, the ultimate samadhi, from which you don't come back into life and birth cycle. You get liberated. Okay, so I won't get into that. I'll leave it over there because that is for each one of us to think about. But Kaivalya Pada is that. Okay, ultimate Dharma Megha Samadhi. So this is Patanjali's philosophy, and it's called the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. Yoga Darshana, that is what it is called. All these texts are called as darshanas. Nyaya Darshana, Vashisheka Darshana, Uttara Mimamsa, Purva Mimamsa, that is pre and post. And then we have, of course, Sankhya, which is one of the biggest and very close to Yoga Sutras of Patanjali by Kapila. Okay, but for us, Yoga Sutra of Patanjali may the answer, whatever you will find delineated in Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, more or less you will find it in all the other scriptures also. The goal is the same, Kaivalya, in all of them. In the Nyaya philosophy, it is based more on the Paramanu, which is the atom. Ultimately, it is said that we have to go there beyond even breaking down the atom, and then there is more to that. But in science, we have just gone to the atom, right? You dissect the atom, you'll find more atoms and more smaller atoms, but there is something beyond that. So Paramanu, going to the source, going to the core. So that is your Nyaya philosophy. And so on, the different philosophies speak about different. Sankhya philosophy is about overcoming your tattvas and reaching Prakriti, and then surpassing Prakriti is again the siddhis that you get. If you get Prakriti in control, you can manifest anything because Prakriti itself is manifestation. So you go beyond that, that is where the Purusha lies. Then again, that is Purusha is the God concept. So becoming one with the Purusha, that is your Sankhya philosophy. Okay, so all the philosophies eventually the goal is the same, to reach, the union, the yoga, to become one with the Atman, Brahman, or realizing God. Names are different, but ultimately the feeling and the experience would be the same, I would guess. Okay, so this is the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, and therefore it is very important as a yoga teacher or a yoga student to know about it. The theories, as much as in the West we might see, you talk about muscles, we talk about this, we talk about that, all that is there. We should know all those things because those are important for our students when they come in with aches and pains, and how we can help them and correct them. But where do you want to take your journey? That little theory is required, because when you're doing an asana with this knowledge, you'll definitely start looking at it from the beyond body perspective. Okay. And for me, when I started doing that, the small aches and pains and discomforts did not matter. For me today, every square inch of my body, pains and hurts. And I'm telling you, it is not like, you start doing yoga and you do it for 10, 12 years, it gets better. It doesn't. We have something called as age, and that catches on. And if you're going to use your body, you're going to demonstrate, you're going to do, beyond, and then on top of that, become a vegetarian. And then on top of that, you have to, sleep well, disconnect. So that will only, and still live in the society. So life will not become easy on the body, but life can be made very easy if your mind is sorted. All these pains, and that is why the theory is important. Okay. जो थियोरी से मिलता है वो एक है, और जो बॉडी प्रैक्टिस से मिलता है वो भी एक है. तो कॉम्बिनेशन ऑफ टू इज समथिंग दैट वी हैव टू, एंड दैट्स व्हाई sadhana pada is important for us. We can't just sit in meditation and expect miracles. In today's time and age, meditation is big, great. We should practice it, no doubt. But you have to also do these body practices, yamaniyam practices, pranayam practices. Okay, सिर्फ मेडिटेशन से नहीं चलेगा. मेडिटेशन को एक पार्ट बनाओ, but also give time for your these sadhanas, reading the scriptures, um, sitting down just quietly every morning if you can for 3 to 5 minutes. Yeah, so these things will be very, very important as we go ahead in life. All right, so before you all sleep and get, even more, you all want a break, or do you all want to stop for today? I have finished my Yoga Sutras ka topic. Revision also, we have pretty much covered quite a bit on what we did in the week, the asanas, the sequences. I also did the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali recitation, so that's also taken care of.
So I have a question. There is this asana that we do after Tadasana, that is Prasarita Hastapadasana.
Hastapadasana.
So can you just translate that for me? I'm having, when I Googled it and I try to understand, because we are just kind of extending our hands, right? So I had this notion that Prasarita is used when we are forward bending or something like that. So
Okay.
I'm linking.
Anybody want to explain that? Anybody knows the meaning?
Prasarit means extending.
Yes, extending or stretched out.
Prasarit hasta padasan means extending the hands and legs.
Yes. Prasarita means spread out or stretched out.
Okay.
Hasta means hands, but in this context, we don't just take the hands, we also take the entire arm. Prasarita hasta. And pada means feet, but we don't take literally the feet spreading out, but we also take the feet widening and keeping them at a spread out angle. Okay, now I'm going to show you all something. We'll just see if at the end of your 4 core sequence practices, at the end of 4 weeks, Okay, I've got that. I'm going to screen share. I don't want to give this to you all immediately because it becomes very easy, you see. तो मैं आपको ये दूंगा when the time is right. Can you all see the screen? All of you? Okay, so you all will get this, which gives you the name of the asana. Just tell me you all can see the screen. I'm not sure. Can you all see the screen, all of you?
Yes.
And it gives you basic instructions on what you need to do. A ready reckoner, best for benefits and cautions. So I'll be giving you, this is your Prasarita Hastapadasana. Richa.
Got it.
So please keep asking questions and please, whatever it is, but you will get this where you will have all the 40 asanas that we are going to learn. So har ek asana ka, there is a breakdown. Okay, so I think we did Dandasana also this week, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
We didn't do Padmasana. We didn't do Shirshasana. We did Adho Mukha Svanasana. Okay? So I'm not going to make it so easy for y'all, but you will get that at the end of it. End of 4 weeks. So I'm giving you 4 core sequences. The 40 asanas are put into 4 core sequences. Some will be overlapping also. So strength का हो गया है. अभी next week का देखते हैं क्या है. Flexibility है या balance है या fat loss है. There are 4 core sequences. So once we finish practicing all 4, then we'll start some mock sessions. We'll start some more interaction on asanas. Because for me personally, the goal is that you all should be able to do all the 40 asanas, okay, within the range and capacity, but with the right intelligence. If you all have understood the asana and you all can do it, I'm happy. My course is done. ये बाकी जो हो रहा है आजू बाजू में, whatever you need, I'm there for that. But for me, the core thing is that you should be able to do the 40 asanas safely, properly, and be able to teach those 40 asanas. For me, that target is achieved. Okay, so you will get the ready reckoners. ठीक है, Richa?
Yeah. So one more thing, why when I try to practice Vipreet Karni, I mean, I'm not able to get there, using the instructions that are provided, because earlier when I used to practice, I used to use that using a block or a prop
Yes.
generally. So how do I go about it? I mean, I'm still struggling. I'm not there yet. So how do I go about it?
We will tell you. That is also there. So we will be also looking at, the challenges faced by each one of you in any particular asanas and addressing those and how to overcome those challenges. ठीक है? But for the first 4 weeks, please do your self practice. Please try not to miss the practice classes. Let the body open up. That will be just 50% of the course. After that, there is 4 more weeks to go. Okay, so that 4 more weeks is going to be more deeper learning. But first 4 weeks, please attend classes and do the asanas. Okay, so I'm just going to introduce
Sir,
you to the next ethical precept.
I
Yes,
had a
please.
question.
Yes,
Richa asked about Prasarita Hastapadasana.
yes.
So what is the difference between Prasarita and Utthita?
Utthita means upright, standing. Okay, Prasarita means spread
Because
out.
I've read that both mean extending and expanding. So
Yeah,
I was
so Utthita is upright extension, Prasarita is sideways extension. ठीक है? So Prasarita means anything that is you're spreading out. And Utthita is anything that you are stretching upwards. So standing asanas are called as Utthista Sthiti. Why? Because the spine first has to be elongated, stretched upwards, Utthista. And you're doing them standing. Okay? Cool. So the ethical precept for this particular week is Satya. Just one. Okay, so we will be talking about that a little more. Now I have already received one assignment from group B, I think that is. Right? जो भी group B और group है आपका group A. Okay. So group B is pending. You all are having your meeting today? Okay. What time is your meeting? 2 o'clock.
Yes, 2 o'clock.
Okay. Harshita, you'll be able to join in at 2 o'clock in this group meeting? Okay, great. So one of us will call you, either Seema or me, and just run you through it. Join the meeting and just hang out there today. And next week I'll put you into a proper group where you'll be able to participate
So,
also.
so I'll send the Zoom link to Harshita.
She's on the group.
The
Yeah,
group
you can
B, na?
just, yeah, if you can just send it to Harshita also. She's on the
Yes.
group, you can take her number and do that, Sonia.
Yes.
All right. So should we conclude for today? Or you all have any more doubts, questions I can take?
I have one question.
Hanji, and even
Simple,
Harsh had said
but
something at the start. We need to go back to him also. Yes, Yogesh.
quickly I'll go to my question. Like this path which we are following, like yoga, uh, to practice asanas and do this sadhana and all. At the same time, there are some professions, some people who are doing the sports. So their activities, their day-to-day activities are totally different. But he or she wants to do both. How we can, I mean, is it possible, first of all, or it's a totally different path and this is totally different? So this
No, you should do it. In fact, yoga should help you play that sport or the other activities better. You should, both can be done. In fact, I would recommend that both be done. If you're doing only, see, today's time and age, even just doing yoga asanas, is not sufficient with the kind of intake that we have. So going out and playing a sport is highly recommended if you're doing even only yoga. Please go out and try and get involved in some sport or something. Vice versa, if you're doing only sports or something, we also need some internalization. So some practices of yoga which helps you internalize, which is not physical, strenuous, but mainly on flexibility, maybe some breathing breath work practices, so those you should complement with yoga, and you should complement sports also, with when you're doing only yoga, you should go out and get some sport activity also. Both are good, Yogesh. Karna chahiye.
I have one more, but if you want to take the other
No, no,
one,
boliye, please.
okay. Okay, so you explained the path defined by Patanjali, that there are steps and the ultimate is the liberation or Kaivalya, we say. So, being a human and we are, uh, being in sansar and we have so many things we want to earn, we want to make become richer day by day. But we also know the ultimate thing should be this. But there is a line that we are not able to, balance. I mean, what should be the path we follow and where we should stop. So that those things make me very confused. So I want to lean towards this sadhana and all, but at the same time, I'm not able to, detach from the things in the life,
I
in the
got it.
sense.
I got it.
It's
So,
a bigger, maybe bigger topic. I'm not sure.
no, Yogesh, see, the fundamental thing is uh, forget about when to stop and how much sadhana to do. The fundamental thing is not to have a conflict between empirical life and spiritual life. इन दोनों को आप separate ही रखिए. When you go to your empirical life, when you go to work, you have to work like that competitor who is there to work. You are there to make money, you are there to secure your family, you are there to live a good life. That is the society's rule, and you have to do that. Apply the concept of yamas and niyamas to that. Don't apply the concept of ahimsa, pranayam, meditation to your work life. It will not work. Meditation काम के दुनिया में कुछ काम का नहीं है. ठीक है. तो मेडिटेशन आप दूसरे टाइम पे करिए. कीप अ टाइम इन द डे to get into the discipline that this is the time I will do this, and that time you will not think about the work and this. Switch off your phone, put it aside, lock yourself in the room for that half an hour or whatever. Balance. That is the most important. Everybody at some point or the other will get that conflict. That is the nature of yoga. Okay, but we have to do yoga for today's day and age. We cannot do yoga for what was happening in Satyuga and Treta Yuga and Dwapar Yuga. We have to do Kalyug ka yoga. तो हमको जाना है बाहर, हमको कमाना है, हमको काम करना है, सबको खुश रखना है, थोड़ा ज्यादा ही खुश रखना है. ओके, बिकॉज वहां से हमें भी खुशी मिलेगी. एंड देयर इज नो डिस्प्यूट इन दैट. ओके, सो डोंट confuse or conflict in these two. I'm sure you're not, but just as a reminder, I'm telling you this.
Yeah.
So I would look at it in that way. So whatever you're doing, I think you can go back to the principle of Arjuna in the battlefield. Do your best. He could not be half a warrior. Whenever he went half a warrior, he got a whack from Krishna again. He said, क्या कर रहा है? यहाँ पे कर रहा है, बराबर से कर तू. Don't do half and half. So that is the concept we have to apply. When we are doing the work, we have to do the work 100%. Be involved in it. That's it. And we'll be fine. वो conflict निकाल दो आप मन से. कैवल्य का एक चीज ऐसा है कि वो होना है तो हो ही जाएगा, वो नहीं होना है तो आप कितना भी करो नहीं होगा. हमारे हाथ में क्या है कि हम डिसिप्लिन लाए हमारे इसमें, बस. दैट इज द की वर्ड, डिसिप्लिन. Try to compartmentalize your life where you are for the society. So this is the book I had written, and most of them who could understand it a little bit, I've always put self as first. Okay, so self, उसके बाद family, and ये थोड़ा उल्टा हो गया. That person did some mistake here. It had to be play and then work. Okay, but then we can interchange that. Work can also become play, play can become work, but always self first. Compartmentalize your life, put it into place, because when you are happy, you are fine, you have no conflict, you can solve other people's conflicts. And for that, we need to compartmentalize and give ourselves that time. This is what I have learned. तो काम के टाइम पे प्लीज आप काम करिए, and have a target, have a goal, and work with the yama niyamas as a guide, and you'll be fine.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Hitesh, one last question.
Yeah.
Like, so my body is quite stiff. For example, like I have stiff hamstrings, and I've been practicing yoga for quite a while. So does the progress of yoga, for example, for me, would it depend on how much, like I'm eventually getting flexible, or is it the effort? Because sometimes I feel like there's a lot of effort in doing it, like in terms of discipline and everything, but the body is not like, for example, like the malasana is very difficult for me. So it's a little discouraging for me. Sometimes I think, oh my God, okay, like, I'm not heading towards my goal, or is it because of so much effort? So I'm kind of stuck there. But on the mental level, I'm quite okay. Like spiritually, I feel. So is that a relationship, or is that a conflict? Like,
start thinking from the perspective that I don't want to get worse. Instead of thinking that, okay, I want to get better and I want to get more flexible, start thinking from the perspective that, okay, I can do so much and I want to be able to do so much. And see how that goes. For this week, try and do that. Sometimes that, we do feel like, okay, I need to become a little more flexible, but we forget what we have already. So let's try and look at that this week, see if that, and please share what happens, Kavita, with that ideology. Okay, Harsh, I forgot you. Yeah, sorry, आपने पहले पूछा था.
No worries. So I don't know if you can cover because that was the discovery session class, and the fourth asana you covered, there was Adho Mukh Svanasana, and after that you gave us the 3 ways how to get into that asana, following the 3 steps, right? And you said the same will be applicable on reverse to now asana.
Now asana.
Right? So when you started that explaining how to do it, then the video got disconnected. That's where the first video ended, and then the second video started with the first principle of stability without stress. So I was not able to properly understand how those three steps are there in reverse nerve asana. That's what I was trying to understand.
Okay. So the progression from level 1 to level 2 to level 3 is on exhalations. Okay. So I'll demonstrate for you. Can you all see me? And I'll just go on the mat. So the progression is 3 steps. In case of your Adho Mukha Svanasana, okay, in case of Adho Mukha Svanasana, exhale. This is step 1. Exhale. Step 2. Exhale. Step 3. Okay, so it's on exhalation, the progression. The same thing in Navasana. 1. Exhale. 2. Exhale. 3. Exhale. Okay, so at every exhalation, you move to the next step. If you don't want to move, the breath will be normal breaths. So okay.
Got it.
So that is basically engaging the core. Did you all get that?
Yep, yeah, thank you.
Okay. So with the exhalations, you're engaging the core. And you're doing the same thing when your head is down, Adho Mukha, exhaling, you're engaging the core. Okay. One with bent knees, even in Navasana. And then straight knees, here also straight knees. ठीक है? Okay.
I have a question.
Yes, please.
So you just gave us a brief on the chapters. Will you be covering these chapters in or is
No, we won't.
okay.
It'll become too much here. So this is it. I'm not going to go more into the chapters, but I will give you all specific sutras. Like there is a sutra for asanas. What is the sutra for asanas? What does it mean? Like sthira sukham asanam prayatna shaitilyananta samapat. What does, when you do proper asana, what is the impact on the body and the mind? Then what is pranayama? As per Patanjali Yoga Sutra, what is pranayama? Definition of pranayama, and that also recitation bhi hoga uska. So important sutras we will cover. Okay.
And if we want to read up, where can we read up on this?
There are many books, but I think you can pick up BKS Iyengar's book on Light on the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. You can start from that.
Okay.
Light on the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali.
Okay. Yeah.
Cool. So shall we say a prayer? The prayer is Sarvepi Sukhinah Santu, Sarve Santu Niramaya, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschit Dukkham Apunyat. Okay, so I will say it and then you can repeat it. I'll say one Om followed by one line, and then you can, let's say the one Om together. Sit up straight, join your palms. Go in for a slightly longer inhalation and let us begin. सर्वेपि सुखिनः सन्तु सर्वे सन्तु निरामया सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखमाप्नुयात् Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Okay. Namaskar to all of you. So tomorrow is no meeting, but try and get in a practice session, and we will see you Monday. Namaskar.